I would say that as we conclude the journey that we have undertaken the last 3 years, that the fact that we're having our 5-year action plan as we complete our 3-year tenure as commissioners and as the commission augurs well for the future of the commission. I want to perhaps at this point in time ask that if we can stand, we want to recite the national pledge. That is for all nationals. I pledge myself to honor always the flag of Guyana and to be loyal to my country, to be obedient to the laws of Guyana, to love my fellow citizens, and to dedicate my energies towards the happiness and prosperity of Guyana. Thank you very much. The program, as you have seen, it's going to be very short. We will have the presentation of the strategic plan by Ms. Paulette Henry, our consultant, but before I call on Ms. Henry to take us through this part of the agenda, I want to once again thank the UNDP and the UN family for facilitating this process. I know initially we would have wanted all of this to happen in a very timely way, but nonetheless, the fact that we have arrived at this point, it is important for all of us. As you know, and I've said before, that the mandates of the Women and Gender Equality Commission is a wide one, and we sought to do whatever we thought was important. And thus, we look at the Beijing Platform for Action, we looked at the Ministry of Human Services Action Plan, and we started out by looking at those things that we consider were important to the women of Guyana. In our first year, we sought to promote the awareness of the Commission by doing a number of important initiatives. But nonetheless, the fact that as a Commission we are required to do quite a number of other things, and the strategic plan has now put us in a way in which we can become more strategic in the way we think, in the way we do things. And it is a good guide for us as we proceed for the next tenure of the Commission's life. I would like to ask our consultant, Ms. Paulette Henry, who was responsible for the whole process, to take us through this part of the agenda.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson of the Women and Gender Equality Commission. Good morning. Particularly want to recognize the Honorable Minister, Ms. Jennifer Webster, the Speaker of the House, the UN Resident Representative, Mr. Teacher, the hard-working commissioners of the Women and Gender Equality Commission, all other diplomatic members I recognize from this point, and the special invitees, all who are here this morning, good morning. Now, in the 3 months that I was tasked to guide the Commission through the process of developing their 5-year action plan, I encountered a pattern of strong and committed women, and one male who yearned to fully execute their constitutional mandate, their main objective being to promote national recognition and acceptance that women's rights are human rights, respect for gender equality, and the protection, development, and attainment of gender equality. The process that the commissioners, staff, and I embarked on was a participatory and very inclusive one. It entailed consulting a range of stakeholders, many of whom I see in this room this morning. It included governmental employees, as well as persons from the non-governmental community. It was an eye-opening experience for not only for me, but for the commissioners. It entailed reviewing a lot differently, and I have been able to work with them to chronicle those in their strategic plan. Now, I must say to you that we went through a process of not only meeting with the stakeholders and getting their input, but when we got their input, the input that we garnered from them, we used to help craft our vision and the mission that the Commission now has, and we went through a process of ranking what are the key areas that the Commission can focus on over the next 5 years. I must let you know that we started off with having 9 priorities, 9 strategic thematic priorities. But then when they looked at it, would it be realistic based on resources and all the other things? Can they do this? The Commission then resulted through a process of ranking in reducing those 9 priorities to 4 thematic areas. And when you get the plan, which I think they really did an excellent job of putting together, the 4 areas of focus is now the organizational and institutional strengthening, which is a key priority because it will help the Commission as they see it to stay on task as they strengthen themselves as an institution, but also position themselves to work with the key stakeholders. Women leadership and governance is one of the second areas that the Commission has highlighted as an area that they need to put some more attention to. And they have said this based on feedback not only from the Commission but from the stakeholders, that this is important because whilst there has been growth in the Parliament and some growth at the national level, they also want to see this localized within local and community efforts so that more women can aspire to leadership, making, providing more balance in terms of women and gender equality. Women empowerment, women economic empowerment has been one of the other strategic priorities that the Commission highlighted. They definitely felt that they need to advocate more because as you embark on initiatives and strategies that will make women stronger economically, then they see that as reducing the gender imbalance where that is happening. Now, the final and 4th thematic priority, I'm sure you would agree with the Commission when they highlighted gender-based violence as a platform for action that they needed to address. And this was, I think, almost all of the stakeholders that we spoke to recognized this is an important area for the Commission to point some attention to. And they are going to do this with their partners. The Commission has, I think, a clear understanding, as Madam Chair said, of their role. They want to be more strategic in their advocacy, they want to be more strategic in their education, and they want to be more strategic in monitoring what is happening in terms of women and gender-related issues. So the Commission definitely knows what they're about at this point, and I think that they are better positioned based on my own experience and interaction and engagement with them over the last 3 months. Their task definitely is not going to be easy. It's going to continue to be an uphill task because one of the additional areas that they would definitely need to address is looking at complaints and how they handle complaints. They have recognized that. The good news for the Commission is that there is a human rights body under which the Commission, like 3 other commissions, fall. And if that body is operationalized soon, and if that is functioning, it would help the Commission to move ahead at a faster pace based on the work that they have to do. The Commission, I must let you know, operates, as I said, with a very limited budget, but they have done a lot over the last 3 years. They're looking for support, and they're going to start looking for the support right at home as they target the government and as they seek to increase budget to do the work that they need to do, that is necessary to be done. Of course, they would need additional support from the donor community, and the fact that UNDP has started to lend that support, I think the Commission really applauds that effort. Now, Madam Chairperson, as I present this strategic plan to you, I must applaud you for the spirit, you and your team, for the spirit within which you have received and given feedback during this process. You have made meaningful time, you and all of your commissioners. And I really want to stop for a minute and ask if we can have the commissioners who worked on this process to stand. Thank you very much. And this just recognizes just a few of the commissioners who are here, but they have all of them equally contributed of their time and effort. They have emailed feedback, they have shared their opinions, they have made phone calls, they have given their input as we work through the process. I wish also to applaud the efforts of the CEO, Ms. Diana Swan Lawrence, and her assistant, Maria Ragobir. They have been consistent as we, again, worked on this plan. I really want to thank you all very much. I must applaud as I continue in my final bits in handing over this document to you to recognize the support of the UNDP governance team, Ms. Musa. I want to let you know that your team, in the form of Trevor and George and Vanessa, they have been extremely supportive and consistent in their feedback and the timeliness with which they gave that to all of us. Thank you all so much. It was a partnership that worked very well for us. And I cannot close without saying to you, Ms. Chandrapal, that I truly respect your perseverance. It was a privilege to work with you, particularly as we finalized, wrapped up, and edited this document. It took us some long hours, but the involvement and the leadership that you dedicated to this process, I want to applaud. I trust that over the next few months, as all the commissioners and their partners in terms of the Rights of the Child Commission, the Indigenous People Commission, and all the others, as we work together, I trust that I take a breath, and I now start again to say that I trust as you work together to make this your strategic plan a living document. You remember that it took you and took all of us to work on it, to develop it. I encourage all the stakeholders who contributed to this process to keep the Commission and the commissioners on task, because your voices are in this document. I truly encourage all of you to make this who you are. Your time is valuable, and I really applaud the time that you gave to all of us. So as I present this strategic plan to Ms. Chandrapal, please do not let it settle on the dust, but let it become a document that we all hold the Commission responsible for. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Paulette. It was also wonderful to work with you. The fact that you have put aside so much time, and even though we have been always saying to you, you know, you need to remove this, you need to change this, you've always been patient, you exercise a lot of tolerance with us, so we want to thank you as well for working with us and to see us through to this stage where we're at. We have the strategic plan. I think it would be a little more easier for us to move ahead in the next 3 years. And we have also been cognizant of the fact that we laid the foundation for this commission. And I think it would be the same for the Commission on the Rights of the Child as well as the Indigenous People Commission. We all were the trailblazers or the trailblazers in terms of we being the first sets of people to be part of the commission. And we're always mindful of the fact that we want to ensure that when we would have finished our tenure, that whatever we would have left behind is something that whoever will be taking over will have a great blueprint of things that we ought to be doing for the future. So in this regard, the strategic plan of action is such a blueprint that provides the opportunity to take us forward. The consultant referred to the 4 strategic areas, and I think they're critical areas. And for the balance of the time that we are around, we will try our very best to initiate some of the actions that are required from us. At this point in time, I would like to invite Ms. Khadija Musa, UNDP resident rep, to take the microphone. Ms. Musa.
Good morning, everybody, welcome to Honorable Minister Webster, the Speaker of the House of the National Assembly, the UN team members who are present, the diplomatic corps who are here, community groups, other members of government and invited guests. Welcome all. And I believe all the other commission representatives are here as well. I would like to take this opportunity to congratulate the chair of the commission and the staff of the Women and Gender Equality Commission for the effort in making this launch a reality. I also want to say a special thanks to my colleagues from the UN country team who actually invested quite a bit of time in this and in advising and guiding and allocating their own resources to it. Thank you very much for that. It is also special to mention, it is important to mention also the efforts of Ms. Paulette Henry, who has done a commendable job in completing the work and in working with the Commission to ensure that every issue that came is tackled, resolved, discussed, and that every member of the Commission is fully satisfied with the understanding and outcome of their debate. Thank you for a job well done. Today must be considered a very important day in the life of the Women and Gender Equality Commission. It is a day when the Commission can be proud while they look ahead and implement changes in how they carry out their mandate, which is grounded in the Constitution of Guyana. You still have a lot of work, particularly since you are not benefiting from the advice of a full structure of the overarching Human Rights Commission. So the commissions basically support each other and work on their particular specialized areas without having the benefit of the overarching Human Rights Commission. This is important to advocate for. The government and the opposition leaders to reach an agreement and complete the establishment of this important constitutional body, without which the Commission cannot fully achieve their goals. We must acknowledge, and I'm glad the Speaker of the House is here, that and other ministers of government, that we recognize that this constitutional body must be fully established if the commissions are going to be effective in their work. In spite of the challenges the commissions face, it is my hope that
It will continue to do its best to speak about the situation of women in this country and particularly address the issue of violence against women. And that this plan will be used to strengthen the Commission's role in advocating education, monitoring, advancing the rights of women and men alike, I must say. In the same vein, it is my hope that the Commission will continue to collaborate with all the stakeholders consulted, including political women groups, civil society, and concerned government agencies in the implementation of the plan and action on the reports they submit to Parliament. It is very important that the commissions, all the commissions actually, do not just hand over a report to Parliament, but that their next report includes what has been achieved in terms of issues cited from the previous plans. So this is really, really crucial. It is also very, very important that the avenue of community communications with the commissions, all the commissions, are very clear, and that the community knows they can send an issue to all the different commissions and that it will be addressed, it will be reviewed, and it will be resolved in the follow-up in terms of if it's credible, it will be included in the report to government, and that the relevant ministries will have to act and report back. If there is no accountability for the reports of the commissions, then the commissions are working in vain, and we don't want that. We want to make sure that the work of the commissions is independent. It is really important that the commissions set up a trust base, that individuals can come, that they are neutral, and a lot of the commissions, of course, have worked very hard towards that, and then community feel confident going to them as a neutral entity. I would say that in learning from the commissions that have served, the knowledge, even if these commissions change and new commission members are appointed, the knowledge base that they have created and the work and how they have learned would be very important in carrying out the work of future commissions. And they will definitely serve as resource people, statespersons that can be approached to know how they did things. But the neutrality of the commissions, and the commissions being a separate body from government, is extremely important. And I would urge the government to take that into account when they consider establishing commissions in the future. And I'm not taking away credibility to the work achieved by the current commission, whether they are members of government or whether they are not members of government. I know that they have worked extremely hard to achieve, because they are trailblazers and they know how difficult their job is. But this is a constitutional body which has a specific mandate, and that mandate must be respected, and the neutrality, and for them to be the party that goes between government and community, and the trust by community on these commissions is crucial, and both the opposition parties and government must work towards strengthening their ability. The other issue with the Commission has struggled with its resources. They really do not get very much from the budgets. And I think it's very important as human rights constitutional body for the government to ensure that they are reasonably funded. I know that it is a problem to give all the monies that are needed, but they must be reasonably funded. So with that, I say hats off to the achievement of the current commission under very hard circumstances. And I salute all of you as trailblazers. But let's advocate in no uncertain terms that the overarching Human Rights Commission to be established. Without that, we are working with half structure. Okay? So finally, I would like to say again thank you to everyone who has contributed to this effort. I know that also UNICEF completed the commission, helped the Commission on Children to achieve their strategic plan, and that is, they were among the first and the indigenous population commissions to really work. The Gender Commission has had a lot of plan and activities prior to when we have assisted them in achieving. This one just caps it all and gives them the actual mandated document they need. And I like the cover. I don't know if you do. It means balance. It means human rights. It means equality. Okay, let's salute them. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Khadija. We've heard your sentiments as well as the concerns, and I've noted the advice as well that you have expressed to us. And I want to assure you that there are a number of things that the Commission will take into consideration, and that has to do with the stakeholders, continuous dialogue with the stakeholders. As we have said, one of the first interaction we had, or one of the first public events that we had.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, members of the media, this morning it is my distinct pleasure to make some brief remarks at the launch of the Commission's 5-year strategic plan. First of all, I must say that this is a significant day in the history of the life of the Women and Gender Equality Commission. And I wish to publicly commend the chairperson for her leadership, for her stewardship and guidance, and also those other distinguished members of the Commission who have given a lot of their time to work towards the conceptualization of the strategic plan that we have here today. The Women and Gender Equality Commission is one of the 4 constitutional rights bodies which have been appointed following an agreed-upon consensual parliamentary mechanism. Guyana's revised 2003 constitution enshrined as a fundamental right, equal rights and status with men in all spheres of life, political, economic and social life, as embodied in the CEDAW Convention. Here in Guyana, we have made significant strides towards achieving the Millennium Development Goals, in particular Goal 3, which deals with the promoting of gender equality and the empowerment of women. We have met the target of eliminating gender disparity in primary and secondary education, and will continue to exert our efforts to strive towards the attainment of parity at the tertiary level. A strategic plan for the Women and Gender Equality Commission is deemed necessary as the Commission has been mandated to monitor. The Commission's mandate allows it to receive and investigate complaints and to call for redress, sensitization of the public, and especially women's organizations, specifically dealing with gender issues, are part of the mandate of the Commission. This has been its focus since the Commission's existence some 3 years ago. And the strategic plan identified here today will see the protection of human rights of our women and the support for our women and girls as the Commission seeks to maximize the gains that we have made as a country to advance gender equality and to concentrate their efforts so that Guyana as a country would be able to meet its obligations under the Convention for the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination against Women. I have noted that the strategic plan has identified 4 distinct thematic priorities, which include organizational and institutional strengthening of the Women and Gender Equality Commission, women leadership and governance, women and economic empowerment, and of course, gender-based violence. I am heartened that the Commission, in the formulation of its strategic plan, held consultations with various stakeholders, which included government and non-governmental organizations, through a consultative process and dialogue, which has been quite advantageous in its putting together of this strategy, and is also beneficial in policy and decision making. The conceptualization of this strategic plan is timely in recognition of the struggles of our women who have fought over decades to elevate the role of women and girls in the development of Guyana, from women at the grassroots level who have in their own ways sought to break gender barriers. This plan will in a significant way supplement the measures already instituted to ensure the advancement of gender equality. The Commission must therefore push ahead in an independent manner in accordance with its mandate. Gender equality should not be viewed as a woman's issue, but as a goal that must be realized where there would be equal access, protection, and opportunities for both men and women in all spheres of life. In spite of significant progress made in our society in the area of education and as it relates to the legislative framework, there is need for greater participation of our women in public life. Barriers of patriarchy, and male dominance in political, economic, and social and cultural life still exist. There is still need for greater participation of women in our economy. It is therefore necessary that the Commission implement and institute measures which will assist with monitoring and evaluation mechanisms to support its mandate. Today, we can find in the recently enacted pieces of legislation, such as the Domestic Violence Act, the Counter-Trafficking in Persons Act, and the Sexual Offences Act 2010, the legal mechanisms for access to justice by victims, especially our women. And it is in this context that we are encouraged to execute their constitutional mandate, developing an advocacy and communication strategy to increase public awareness and to further strengthen linkages, facilitate gender mainstreaming, address complaints of violations, and institute monitoring and evaluation measures to ascertain complaints in accordance with international conventions which Guyana has acceded to. These are the types of interventions that will no doubt assist in the Commission's efforts aimed to prevent and eliminate violence against women and girls. In closing, I wish to thank our donor partner, the United Nations Development Program, for its continued support to the government and the people of Guyana, and more so today to the Commission, especially in the area of governance. The Ministry of Labor, Human Services and Social Security reiterates its continued support for the work of the Commission in the execution of its constitutional mandate. The promotion of gender equality and women's empowerment is an unfinished agenda, which will undoubtedly require attention in the context of the development framework. Ladies and gentlemen, let me say that I wish the commissioners and other members success in the implementation of their strategic plan, and I would like to say that working together to ensure that gender equality becomes a reality must happen. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you.
Thank you, Minister Webster. I want to say that first we would like to thank you for your support, and we do look forward to stronger collaboration between the Women and Gender Equality Commission and the Ministry of Labor, Human Services and Social Security. I also want to assure the Minister of our ability to be independent thinkers, because for the last 3 years we have done precisely that. We have discussed what it is we think as a commission we would like to do, and we set about doing it because this is what we believe in. So we will continue to be independent thinkers, but be mindful of the other realities out there in the public domain. The other issue I want to refer to, Minister, is that to also acknowledge the support of the Guyana Women's Leadership Institute in terms of one of the mandates that we have identified, and that is women leadership. It is something that we've always sought to engage the ministries with respect to getting grassroots women, especially because when we talk about women who are educated and women who have the ability to go out and do things for themselves, oftentimes we find the grassroots women do not have a voice. And we believe that the Women Leadership Institute will give that voice, or give a voice to those women. And thus we would like to encourage in whatever way possible your support for the Women's Leadership Institute so they can go to the length and breadth of Guyana to reach out to grassroots women and to give them that voice that they so badly need. Also, we are aware that the ministry has the Research and Documentation Center, and we also would like some collaboration in that regard, because you perhaps are mindful of the fact that we do not have the requisite resources that are required to propel the Commission to do much more things. So I do believe with collaboration we will be able to move the process a little even stronger. I want to thank all of you who have taken time off to come here today, and as I said to you when we started, this is going to be a very brief event, but we think, as was stated before, even though brief, it is very significant in the life of the Commission, and so we look forward to the support of all of you who are here in your capacity as representative of agencies and organizations to work closely with us so that the mandate that we have set out to achieve, that they can become achievable, and we will be able to bring about gender equality in our country. I want also to take the opportunity to thank the male colleagues who have come out. A special thank you to all of you. Oftentimes when we organize programs such as these, we find that always more women are coming out because they feel it is a women thing. And we have to keep reminding them, Women and Gender Equality Commission. And thus we like all of you who have partnered with us today to continue to participate in events organized by the Women and Gender Equality Commission, as well as representatives and decision makers of your respective organizations, to encourage your colleagues, whether they're ministries or organizations, that whenever we have events, we would always like to have a male-female representation so that we can have the kind of awareness and balance that we are seeking to do. So once again, I want to thank all of you for coming out this morning.